I might add, upcoming week's going to be quite a busy one. On Wednesday we have the Hamilton protests outside Oranga-Tamariki, the New Zealand Police in Hamilton, and the family courts. Basically because people have had enough. They've had an absolute guts full of the way that the government is treating children in care and uplifting kids without any evidence of any abuse whatsoever. It's going to come to that point, to that precipice, where they're going to shaft that many families in New Zealand that it's not just a minority anymore. And unfortunately, the lower hanging fruit are still getting picked on a lot, but they're also going for not just the low hanging fruit, they're going for everybody's kids. Even police officers have had to go through this shit. So, yeah. That's on the 3rd of March. On the 4th of March up in Whangarei, me and Steve and the wife are getting dragged up there to face an allegation of speeding back from February the 5th, 2020. Alright, over a year ago, and we're having our defended hearing over that matter. They're trying to say that Steve was speeding because Steve is the registered owner. The only thing is, Steve was never in the bloody vehicle. Myself and my wife took turns driving there and back, and so long ago I'll be fucked if either of us can remember which one of us were driving at the time. We called the police. We said again, conditionally accepting to pay the ticket provided they could please tell us which one of us was driving. They can't do that. Why? Because the photo was taken from the back of the vehicle. They cannot identify the driver. The cops' opinions, we don't have to prove anything. We'll just go after the registered owner. And yet he stayed up north for the night. He didn't come back till the 6th. His Google timeline can prove that one. So, yeah, an interesting one that. Seeing they're dragging us all the way up to Whangarei because we weren't just a muppet plead guilty and then got it transferred to Auckland. Because you plead not guilty, you have to go back to the closest jurisdiction to where the alleged offence occurred. So we have to go back up to Whangarei to maintain our innocence. The beauty of it is that seeing they're dragging us up there, we did rolling protests in Hamilton, but why don't we do some in Whangarei seeing we're up there as well? Sure, it shouldn't take all day unless they hold us back to the last case, so which they may do. We've got nothing but time to kill. The point being is that if they're going to drag us up there, and New Zealand cannot prove beyond a reasonable doubt, which is the criminal standard for a speeding ticket, it is a category 1 criminal offence, so the burden of proof is beyond a reasonable doubt. If the two justices of the peace that we're going to be standing up in front of, myself and wife have given sworn affidavits on the record, because the police can't look at the evidence and say we can't prove beyond a reasonable doubt that Steve was driving, so we can't ticket him and drop the matter, because let's remember it's a $120 speeding ticket. We're going to waste thousands of the court's time and resources to try and prosecute this person, even though we don't have enough to gain a conviction. They're just going to rely solely on Section 133 of the Land Transport Act, Section 1, where the registered owner is deemed or presumed, should I say, to be the offender, even though they have evidence stating that there's no way he was, because we've both admitted that we drove during the trip. We just don't know when. We didn't keep a travel log. So, yeah, they're the one making the allegation. Onus probandi, or burden of proof, is on them. So let's see them prove it. See you guys. Have a good one.